welcome back to The Explainer. So today we're tackling something literally all of us deal with, right? I mean, whether you're a college student buried in textbooks or a professional just trying to keep up at work, there's this relentless demand to constantly learn. Every single day it's like new info, new skills, new things to master. But here's the catch. Most of us are doing this completely wrong. We're working way harder, not smarter. So we're going to dig into some source material today that completely flips traditional studying on its head. We'll look at why rushing actually kills your learning and how this thing called the satisfaction loop can totally rewire your daily routine. Okay, let's dive into this. Just think about this for a second. Have you ever sat down, powered through a massive textbook chapter or some endless corporate training module, finally clicked complete, and then, like an hour later, realized you cannot remember a single thing? Yeah, it's painful, but it's so relatable. We just rush because we want to hit that finish line, right? We're focused entirely on the finishing part, not the actual absorbing part. And the source material calls out this massive flaw. If your only goal is just to get it over with, you're missing the whole point. And honestly, you're just setting yourself up for a ton of frustration. All right, moving into section 1, the daily learning grind. So, we've got to face facts. Daily learning isn't just a school thing. It's just a mandatory part of life. Whether it's reading for a class or upskilling for your job, you can't escape it. The source actually puts it perfectly. Daily, you need to learn to move on. To actually move forward, you have to sustain your learning without totally burning out. It's not just a one-and-done deal. But how do we do that? How do you keep the momentum going every single day? Well, the secret is unlocking a very specific feeling that essentially keeps the engine running. Without it, you're just not... Which brings us to section 2. The cramming trap. And this brilliantly illustrates the problem. When we're overwhelmed, human instinct says, just cram. We try to devour a whole book in like a 2-hour binge. And sure, you can say you finished it, but what actually happens? You forget everything, and you feel zero satisfaction, which basically ruins any chance of doing it again tomorrow. Now, look at the right side. Contrast that with mastering just 2 questions or even 2 lines a day. It sounds almost ridiculously small, doesn't it? But this micro approach guarantees perfect retention. You actually remember what you read, and way more importantly, it builds incredible, rock-solid consistency over time. Let's jump into section 3, the satisfaction loop. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is understanding exactly why mastering just 2 lines works so much better. It requires us to totally rethink satisfaction. Normally, we just think of satisfaction as this nice little feeling we get after doing a good job. But the source material looks at it as a mechanical driver. It's literally the fuel. By breaking your learning down into these tiny pieces, like just 1 or 2 questions a day, you guarantee that you'll cross the finish line of that micro task. And hitting that finish line, that triggers the exact satisfaction you need to wake up and do it all over again tomorrow. Let's really look at the sheer power of the word completed. When you set out to learn just 1 or 2 topics a day and you actually pull it off, you get this intense hit of self-satisfaction. You get to say, hey, I completed my 2 topics today. And that feeling, that's the signal to your brain saying, okay, it's safe to store this information. It makes the material so much easier to remember and helps you maintain that daily rhythm. Cramming a whole book in an hour might feel super productive in the moment, but it's actively robbing you of that crucial daily win. All right, section 4, the 5-minute break strategy. Let's move to and see how this builds, because we know we need those small, satisfying chunks. But what actually happens during the study session itself? If you just blindly push from one question straight into the next, you are going to burn out. You'll lose your focus. To fix this, the source lays out this really brilliant 5-minute pivot. Step 1, you study a single topic or question, full attention. Step 2, before you even think about the next topic, you take a mandatory 5-minute rest. But here's the absolute secret sauce. You don't totally check out during this break. You let the next question kind of linger in the back of your mind so you stay anchored. Then, step 3, you come back and continue. It's a tiny pivot, but it completely resets your brain without letting you get distracted. So the crucial point is really captured in this idea directly from the source. The completed is very, very important, that easily you can remember the topics and you can move on. To stay consistent, you literally have to design your learning around that feeling of being completed. Small goals, tiny victories, taking those 5-minute rests to stay sharp. That is the ultimate secret to moving forward without totally burning yourself out. Which brings us to a final thought to wrap up today's explainer. I really want you to look at your own habits. When you sit down tomorrow, what's it going to be? Are you going to try to conquer the entire book, risk forgetting it all, and completely burn yourself out?
Are you going to try mastering just 2 lines, securing that powerful hit of satisfaction, and building a habit that actually lasts? I mean, the choice completely changes how you learn. Thank you guys so much for joining me on The Explainer today. I absolutely recommend giving this micro-learning framework a shot, and I'll see you